Carley and Rebecca here.
We're back!
We picked out some of the books that we really like, and we just wanted to talk through how to promote language and literacy and speech skills at home with these books.
Yeah, and using them in like so many different ways. I feel like a lot of people think that just because your kid isn't reading yet or they're too little to read yet, that like books shouldn't be a part of like everyday routine.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like books should be a part of a kid's every single day, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I feel like books are so important, even if it's just not even reading the words on the page, like just like talking through a book with your kid.
And what do you do with a book? I mean, kids have to know this is how you hold a book, and this is how you turn the pages, and this is, you look at the left first and then the right. So we can start by teaching those skills really young and then slowly expand upon them.
What book do you want to start with?
I'll start with one of mine.
Okay,
so one of my favorite books, We're Going on a Bear Hunt. I love this book. There's a lot of repeated lines. So it's really easy to get kids engaged, even with our kids who are not communicating with speech but are using communication devices, having them do a repeated line with a Big Mac switch, or doing some of those key core words as they're on a device as they're going throughout the book. I really love it though because it's got a lot of beat words. So one of the first sounds that we want kids to master is beat. A lot of easy words to say. It's really exciting. It builds up to a lot. It's got a lot of good consonant clusters that kids can work on. It's got some prepositions of we can't go over it, we can't go under it, oh no, we have to go through it, which I love to use a lot. And then what I'll do a lot of times with this book is we'll go through it and the kids will get really excited, and then we'll go to the gross motor room or go in their house and do an obstacle course and go through the book. What are we going to use for the river? What are we going to use for the mud? What are we going to use for the storm? Who's going to, and then have a sibling at the end who's the bear who has to chase them back through everything, which is really great for story retell and sequencing.
It's super fun. And how she said about the repeated lines, something that's really cool about that is for like emerging readers or kids who aren't super confident readers, I love promoting confidence. Like you want your kid to know that like they are a good reader. And so the good thing about the repeated lines is they know what to expect. So a lot of times with those books, you'll see that their confidence as a reader is higher because they know what to expect. So like they know this is what that says because it says it almost on every page, and it kind of helps build that confidence. And then like you'll see with more unfamiliar books, they might not be as confident, but after reading repeated ones, they'll like start to try new things and like try new words that they might not recognize off the top of their head. So I love books that are repeated.
Yes.
All right, so I'll talk about this one. So I have two books. One of them is just one that I love so much. This one is one that I personally like using with like a little bit older kids who can read. So this is kind of like I was talking about promoting that confidence as a reader. So it's The Three Little Fish and the Big Bad Shark. So it's a familiar storyline, like The Three Little Pigs. So it's kind of in the sense like the kids know what to expect, like they know what's going to happen. And so it's I would say like for older kids that can read, so that you can kind of go through and just promote that confidence and like, you know, what do you think is going to happen next? It'll help with like making predictions because they know what's going to happen next. Like it's not exactly the same, but they're able to like guess and make predictions and like I just keep saying promote that confidence, but I feel like that's such a big thing with readers is like you want them to know that it's okay if like you don't get every word right. Like you're just wanting to understand what you're reading. Like you don't have to say every single word perfect. You just want to understand what's going on in the story. So that's why I like this one. Just because it's a familiar story but has a little change to it. So I like that one a lot.
So another book that I have, which if you see me for therapy, I'm sure you've seen this book. It's very well loved. I have Brown Bear. There's different versions of there are different versions of the book with Panda Bear, and Polar Bear. This is the slide and find version of the book. It is super fun. So these pictures are really simple. We do a lot with the sounds of the animals, working with open and close, doing 2-word utterances. Hi bear, bye bear, hi bird, bye bird, ooh red bird, brown bear. So building upon the utterance that kids are using. Something that I have done with this book is with my feeding kids they're really aversive to a food, grabbing this book and having them feed the animals as we go along. So you'll hear the pages are a little sticky from how much we've had to clean it, especially this last one at the end.
Cool.
Very sticky. We really like to feed these kids.
Sticky fingers.
So even using books for feeding can be really fun. And then doing body parts with the animals, but also then with the kids at the end. It is super fun. And like Carly said, a lot of the same repeated lines. So working on that emerging literacy and building some confidence.
That's the great thing about books is like it's literally for kids of any age. So kids that can read, kids that can't read yet, kids that are literally 1 year old and like don't even know what a book is. Like you can use a book for everything. So this is one of my favorites. It's called The Big Book of ABCs. And it's one of the really good things about it is it's super durable. So kids that are rougher with books or like don't know how to handle books, like it's gone through some hard times and it still looks brand new. But each page has the letters and then there's things, so this whole page is filled with everything that starts with an A and then B and so on. And so I use this book literally, I can use this book for any kid. So if we're working on a certain sound, so say we're targeting B, we can go and work through all of these. You can make silly sentences with the bird or with the balloon, like silly sentences, work on just word at the word level, at the phrase level, at the sentence level, and really get that auditory bombardment of so many B sounds. Also with like early language kids, labeling like common objects or animals or making even like environmental sounds, like making noise like bok bok or all the different sounds that you can make with it. Also for evaluations, like just getting a language sample or a speech sample. If you just give a kid this book, usually they'll flip through it and just like, they'll either label things or they'll like just talk about what they see. So like it's really good for just getting even like speech samples. Like I love this book so much. This is one of my favorites.
That is fun. I'm going to have
It's
to borrow it.
fun. Yes, always.
One other book that I don't have, but I really love, and I know you have a book that you love but don't have either. I really love Walking Through the Jungle. It's a repeated line singing book. You don't have to sing it, but it's much more fun if you do.
Way more fun if you do.
The pictures are really, really fun. It's all about the animals and what they're doing. They're swinging, they're climbing in different settings the animals live in. My most favorite thing about the book is it's about these kids that go through to these different places that these animals live. The kids are all different colors and shapes and sizes, and it doesn't mention anything about the kids, but it has them in there. It's got a little girl that's in a wheelchair. I actually never noticed it, but I was doing the book with the little girl that's in a wheelchair, and she pointed out, we were working with a device.
And then you start crying.
She saw the little girl in a wheelchair, and she goes to her device and she finds wheelchair, which we'd never done before. She found out all by herself, and that just meant so much to her. We weren't talking anything about it, but it was a little girl who used the same mode of transportation that she did.
That's awesome.
And so I think it can be really good for it to be there and not mention anything,
Right.
but it's just normal.
Yeah, it's just the norm.
or just to talk about with some of these kids of like,
Yeah.
they're
different.
Kids look different,
Yeah.
or they use different things, but it's cool for them, and
Very cool.
it's what makes them able to be our friends.
Yeah. So my book, so I'm super big on interactive books. So the ones that are touch and feel or like the slide, like the peekaboo books. But one of my favorite is called the All Better book, and it comes with these little magnetic kind of like sticky band-aids that are reusable, and you flip through the pages and animals get like bobos or boo-boos.
Boo-boos.
I say bobos, and I think a lot of
boo-boos.
kids say boo-boos. I say bobos. But anyway, they get an injury, and you have to like put the Band-Aid on it, and so it's super interactive, but that's another one that you can use for any age. So if they're old enough to read, they can actually read the story, but if not, I think it's more fun to like make your own story with it, and kind of, that's a good one for actually WH questions too, because you can say, what happened to the dog? Or what did they hurt? Where did he get hurt? Why does he need a Band-Aid? You know, so like you can work really good with what WH questions too. And I find that kids are a lot more intrigued with books if they're interactive, or like if you make it fun. Like it's not like, okay, let's sit at this table and read this book. Like you need to make it a fun environment for them so like they want to read, you know?
I also love that book for emotions. Like
Yes.
it's okay to be sad.
Yes.
And here are reasons that you could be sad, but what can we do to make you feel better?
Yeah.
Make you happy again, I think is really important for kids.
Books are amazing.
We're big fans if you
Big
have
fan
book
of books.
recommendations.
Yeah. Or if you have any, if you have like a specific child that you would like need book recommendations for, like comment and we can like give you some ideas for some good books, because I pretty much have a library now. So
We call it Carley's Library.
yeah, I have a lot of books. So, but
Super
yeah.
cool.
So that's our tidbit on books and why we love reading and all the different ways you can use them in speech and feeding.
Yeah.
So
Thank goodness for libraries.
yes.
Yep.
So all right. See you next time.
Bye.